January 21st, 2026. The thought of the day today relates to the activities of the day, and it'll be all quite clear why in a moment. I wrote it down as this: part of why we plea our cases is to help the judge understand better what happened. And I also, in my mind, this relates to sales, I think, as well. Part of why we plea the case of the object or thing we're trying to sell is to help the potential buyer be more inclined to purchase or change their mind on what they already think about that thing if they've made the decision, prior decision not to buy it. I think this is sort of revelatory to me in a sense because I've kind of lived my life in a way that I just have made the gross misinterpretation, the poor assumption that people understand things. I think this isn't to say that people are dumb or mean or just totally self-motivated or self-interested. I think a lot of the times it's simply lack of knowledge. It's simply not understanding the perspective that that I have, or the experience is sort of opaque to them. And I think in something I'm probably kind of starting to realize a little better as I experience more life, is that sometimes you just need to be clear about things, as clear as possible. I mean, I've always had an exceptional motivation to be clear in my communication, but part of that clarity, which I think I'm now starting to understand more, is that you actually need to say the parts that seem assumed. The things that are very clear to me sometimes just aren't very clear to everyone else. Essentially, what I'm saying is there is no obvious thing. So in many cases, it bears repeating and clarifying. One really quick, easy example, I was talking with my people on the banking people, to try to find out what went wrong with my payment to the court. They looked back in the record and they were able to find, it looks like the court tried to process the money 4 days after the card was closed. And I said, oh great, can you send me a record of that? They were like, okay, cool. What they sent me was the record that the card was closed. Nothing to do with when the bank tried to take the money, process the money. What seemed obvious to me was that I wanted to know that information, that I wanted the record of the information showing that the bank had tried to get the money, that the court had tried to process the money. I didn't care that the thing had closed unless the court itself was going to send me a document showing when they tried to process the money. So anyway, I need to call the bank back up now that I see that. Anyway, that basically is what I'm saying. I think it's a little annoying because obviously we feel like we're repeating ourselves, or that we're maybe belittling people just by repeating or trying to make things clear. But it's just in order to try to have everything understood, you just sometimes you gotta be more explicit and repetitive, and everything needs to be clarified. So that is my thought of the day. The day went as follows. I woke up, I actually slept pretty good, and I just went straight to the DMV. I had to take care of getting my Utah state license. I had to take care of getting my car, my new license plate for my car, my registration here in Utah. I went through the licensing stuff pretty relatively easily. I had to take the test. It was a 25-question test, open book, got 100%. I didn't even really need to look at the book very much. I think just 2 or 3 questions that were a little unusual. And mostly I attribute my quality there to the fact that I used to teach driver's ed. Even though this is a different state, most of that stuff is not tricky, or it's that the hard ones were basically like showing me very specific numbers. 8-year-old, a child under the age of 8 has to be at least 57 inches tall in order to not be in a safety seat. Okay. I'm not sure what's obvious and common sense about 57 inches tall, but whatever. And then when I went to register my car, first time through the line, which was maybe a half-hour wait, I learned I was missing some documents. They were in my car. I go out to my car. I jump back in line. Another half-hour wait-ish. We go through the whole process. Everything's looking good. And then my credit card gets declined. I look at my app. I have plenty of money and, available balance there. So it was weird. Okay, so I go, well, I'll have to figure it out and come back. I come home. I call up the credit card people. They have sent a replacement card for the renewal of the card, which the card does not expire till March. It's now January. Why were they sending a card 3 months ahead of time? I'm not sure. Also, they sent it to my old address because I made the mistake of just not updating to my Utah address. But because they sent to the old address, and for whatever reason it didn't forward here, and it was a couple weeks ago, it went back to them. It got returned back to them. And that's why they closed my card. So I said, okay, well, let's get the card. Let's get a new card. And here's my new address. They go, okay, that'll be 7 business days, 7 to 10 business days. So it's like, well, that can't work. I need to use the card today. So anyway, they were able to work it out. She had to go to her higher up managers or whatever and get it squared out. Then I went back. Now the wait was an hour because it was now after lunch. Finally got it all paid. We're all good. And then I headed to the court to set up my court date as indicated on the infraction ticket. And that's all good. Nothing super complicated there. It looks like I'll be going there February 3rd. after that, I came home and just worked on my app all day. Very basic. Finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about, anyway, that was my day. Last thing I want to talk about, this is the 1-year anniversary of the beginning of my specific YouTube vlogging here. It has been a fine journey. I'm a little curious. I just noticed that today, January 21st, was the first day of my vlogging 1 year ago, yet there are only 363 videos, so I think that means I'm missing 2. So I'm a little bit tempted to try to track down which dates are missing, figure out why they're missing. Not sure what's up with that. But anyway, cheers to 1 year. I'm not sure who actually watches these, but thanks for joining me on the ride. Life has changed a lot in the last year. I lived in a different state. The next year or 2, maybe there will be a lot to change as well, but I don't know. We'll see. I have high hopes for better things to come. I think that's all. Good times. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your patience on my totally bizarre day. A rare one, because this is just a strange situation, but so is life. All right, thanks y'all. Until next time, take it easy.